So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I'm your host, Saieed. We do want to thank you for joining us tonight, viewers. Straight into the update, CARICOM leaders are heading into caucus on Thursday, where the key decisions are expected on advancing the regional integration movement. Sensitive and political and potential continuous issues are on the agenda as the 50th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government continues in St. Kitts and Nevis. At the end of their deliberation, they will return to Bastille to continue their 4 days summit. Among leaders, Haitian Prime Minister Alex, who hopes the presidential election will last took place in 2016 in his country will take place by the end of this year. Listen to this, viewers.
For the past 6-7 months, we have been making some serious inroads into the gang areas. We are recuperating parts of Port-au-Prince, parts that were in gang control are now back into the police and the state control. We are moving forward. We just had an important milestone, which I think is something that people didn't think could happen. We had most political parties, especially the major ones, sign an accord for the stability and to assure that we're all going to the elections together.
Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar has revealed her plans to meet with U.S. President Donald Trump in March 2026 for the Shield of America Summit in Florida. The Prime Minister made the announcement while speaking to reporters in St. Kitts and Nevis following a one-on-one bilateral discussion with United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio during the CARICOM 50th regular meeting on Wednesday. Although she shared limited details, she was optimistic about what lies ahead. Listen to this.
Today with him, we talked about Haiti, we talked about Cuba, of course, we talked about engagements with Venezuela and the way forward. And he committed that on the 7th, when we meet President Trump, more details will be shared on several of the things, all for the benefit of the people of TNT. Whatever we do is for the benefit, security, trade, prosperity, and of course, safety.
Now, viewers, she is not the only regional leader to meet with the U.S. President, as Guyana President Irfan Ali also revealed he will be meeting with Trump also. Listen to this.
It's a meeting dealing with security matters. It's dealing with some of the challenges in the region and to see how we can coordinate better in relation to those challenges. And this is an engagement that has been ongoing. So, as you asked, yes, we were invited.
So, viewers, as it stands for now, Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana are the only two Caribbean countries from the 50th CARICOM regular meeting to receive invitation to have talks with President Donald Trump. Additionally, President Ali welcomed the PM's support for Guyana against any threat from neighboring Venezuela.
But this is Guyana would not sit by if the territorial integrity and sovereignty of any of our state is threatened. We have a responsibility to support each other. That's the responsibility of the Charter.
Also, viewers, the opposition is strongly criticizing Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar addressing at the 50th regular meeting of CARICOM heads of government on Tuesday. Speaking at a media conference on Wednesday, opposition leader Penelope Beckles described the Prime Minister's presentation as embarrassing arguing that it failed to deliver the message of regional unity. Penelope.
The Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago used the opportunity really to show Trinidad and Tobago in a very, very negative light. The trading that takes place between the regions, Jamaica, Guyana, Barbados, and the fact that there's a positive trade export, particularly as it relates to Trinidad and those regions. And interestingly enough, the entire region was looking forward to this CARICOM meeting, and they were really looking forward to hear what Trinidad and Tobago had to say.
You know what's funny, viewers? She said it's embarrassing. When the Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Keith Rowley, stood in a meeting and said, the people of Trinidad and Tobago are stupid. I wonder if that was embarrassing. We had a former Prime Minister telling us that we are stupid. The same people who put him in power, the same people who voted for PNM, in return, that is what he said to the people who voted him. We are stupid. So I wonder now how Penny is looking at that compared to Kamala Prasad Bisesa telling the world what is taking place in Trinidad and Tobago. So which is more embarrassing? Our former Prime Minister telling us we are stupid? So are we that stupid to put him back? Well, apparently we were stupid to put him back. So how does Penny view that now? Is that not embarrassing? Or is it enlightening to the people of Trinidad and Tobago? The man didn't say we educated, The man didn't say we smart, The man didn't say, well, we trying our best, The man bluntly said we stupid. We stupid. But nevertheless, Beckles said TNT is widely regarded across the region as a leader in areas such as business and education. And she believes that the Prime Minister should have reinforced the position. Instead, she claims Mrs. Prasad Bisesa strayed into other issues. She went there to let the world know what is taking place. She went there to let CARICOM know what is taking place. She stood up. She stood up and to let the world know that we are not going to tolerate the gangsters and the drug runners to be running Trinidad. She stood up. Nobody else didn't do that for Trinidad and Tobago. I want you to remember that, Penelope. Nobody else did that. Nobody. So listen to this, Trinidad and Tobago.
The Prime Minister sought to use this opportunity to talk about crime, and to talk about kidnapping. I mean, people listening to this would probably wonder what is going on in Trinidad and Tobago that a Prime Minister on such an important occasion can say absolutely nothing positive about our country.
It's sad, that she said, Kamala said nothing good about Trinidad, but Mark Rubio said that the U.S. guns are causing problems in Trinidad. Look who said it. Marco Rubio said that. So what is Penelope talking about then? Why didn't she say something about Rubio? Let me tell you something. She tongue would have never slipped. Them lips would have never beat up words to bad talk Rubio. Trust what I telling earlier. While some reporters suggested CARICOM leaders have responded in a measured and diplomatic manner to the Prime Minister's remarks, Beckles was asked whether the speech could deepen tension between Trinidad and Tobago and its regional partner. This is how she responded.
I believe that every effort is still going to be made as it relates to unity. Trinidad and Tobago is offering itself for a seat at the Security Council. One of your expectations is that you're going to get your votes. Your first block is your CARICOM vote. I mean, we certainly hope that the Prime Minister would recognize and the government would recognize the importance of Caribbean and CARICOM unity, notwithstanding whatever issues they may have.
Sometimes you just have to listen and let them talk. That is all you just have to do at points in time. They forget they were governing Trinidad for 9 years, and they want to talk about crime. Minister of Public Utilities and Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, Barry Patharat, is commending Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisesa for what he described as a frank and honest address at the 50th regular meeting of CARICOM in St. Kitts and Nevis on Tuesday evening. The minister emphasized that the Prime Minister's contribution to CARICOM staged a bold, courageous, and necessary as she confronted the real issue facing the region. Listen to this.
I thought that the Prime Minister confronted the real geopolitical issues that are affecting CARICOM at this particular time. There are two main issues, which are national security issues and the economics issues surrounding several CARICOM states.
He then stated that the Prime Minister also challenged a perception that CARICOM has become a talk show, making what he described as clarion, call for action.
And the only way you can get action is if you confront the real issues that are impacting Caribbean societies. And I think she sought to do that. She did justice to the statement and to the position. And the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and the government bench supports the position adopted by the Honorable Prime Minister. And I think the Honorable Prime Minister fell short of saying, let the chips fall where they may.
Addressing the Prime Minister's statement, who vexed loss? Mr. Patharat stated that it must be understood in context. The Minister also responded to comments from Opposition Leader Penelope Beckles on the Prime Minister's speech.
We are 7 miles away from Venezuela. We have been among, if not the CARICOM country that has been worst affected by crime, by narco-trafficking, gun trafficking, human trafficking. And therefore, when the Prime Minister said who vexed laws, she said it in the context that Trinidad and Tobago will do what is in its best interest. We will partner with those who are willing to partner with us to ensure that we protect our nation's sovereignty. Or when I hear the opposition leader talking about the Prime Minister making a bizarre statement, it tells me that the opposition leader continues to lead a pack of cowards, spineless cowards, who are not willing to take the bull by its horns to address the real issues that are impacting our economy and our national security issues.
So what was Penny expecting? Penny was expecting that the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Kamla Prasad Bisesa, go to the 50th meeting and just talk about fancy dreams. That meeting was for everybody to come together to talk about their countries and the issues and what they are facing in the Caribbean and in the CARICOM, and how can we better fix the country? What can we do? How can the U.S. help us? But apparently, she condemned that. It's a sad thing. It's a sad thing. On 9 years, 9 years, drug runners had their say in the country. Gun smugglers, prostitution, kidnapping, rape, murder, larceny, housebreaking. For 9 years we suffered. Now that we have a Prime Minister now that is willing to stand up in public spaces and in public meetings, local and international, to tell them, hey, we need help. All their vex. All their vex. Trinidad and Tobago, we are going for a short commercial break, but stay locked on. When we come back, we're talking about Cuba and PM CARICOM stand.
We'll be right back.
Welcome to Real Talk Financing and Investment, a place where your loans are guaranteed and you're rewarded with up to 5% upfront interest on your deposit. Why wait when you can invest with us today and reap the benefits? Speak with a representative at our central branch at 238-6716, 231-6219, or 339-1670, or our south branch at 242-9944, 241-0543, or 339-1670. Real Talk Financing and Investment. Investment company just for you. For you. For you. For you.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the blaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on a roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Welcome back.
So now, viewers, what I am going to say might sound a little harsh to you all, but listen to this. Cuba is facing a possible humanitarian collapse due to the lack of fuel supply to its country, resulting in speculations that this could destabilize the wider Caribbean. Now, during the 50th CARICOM Summit, regional leaders, they shared the opinions and they talked about the matter. Now, among them was our Prime Minister, who said TNT will not support what she described as a economist regime and rebuke regional leader for what she called interference in Cuba internal affairs. Listen to this.
Tell the Cuban people, okay, we feel sorry for you. It can't work. And as you said, Prime Minister Holness, we have to find a mechanism for the humanitarian efforts of the people of Cuba. But at the same time, we cannot, and I will not, Trinidad and Tobago will not support a dictatorship in Cuba or anywhere else. We will not support it.
So now, viewers, opposition leader Penelope Beckles during Wednesday press briefing said the opposition remained firm in its support for Cuban people. Penelope.
We have not heard what is the position of this government as it relates to the Cuban doctors and nurses. So I am, of course, calling upon the Prime Minister to indicate what is her position as it relates to that matter. We maintain our position that Trinidad and Tobago has been consistent in its policy in supporting Cuba on the issue of the embargo, And we are really surprised at some of the statements of the Honorable Prime Minister.
So our former Affairs Minister now, Dr. Amy Brown, described the PM recent comments on Cuba as dinosaur rhetoric in today's world. Listen to this one.
The Prime Minister, in a most unusual fashion for Trinidad and Tobago, attacked the sovereignty of Cuba and basically presented a narrative that they must only get food and fuel when they have free and fair elections, and went on a rant reminiscent of the 1980s rhetoric about communism versus capitalism. I think that's how she described it. Really dinosaur rhetoric in today's world.
Hear who talking, eh? Hear who's saying that. Now listen to this, viewers. Listen to this, eh? Meanwhile, Guyana President Irfan Ali also spoke on Guyana's humanitarian aid for Cuba. During an interview on Wednesday, he also said there's nothing preventing aid going to Cuba, but there are challenges. So these challenges, is the opposition seeing it? Is CARICOM seeing it? Listen to what he has to say.
The challenge that Cuba has is a challenge of power. Where do you store the food if you don't have power and energy to store food and so on?
Storage is the problem, according to the Ghana Irfan Ali. So viewers, I'll tell you this, economist country, I'm going to tell you something, you just have to be very careful, you know. Very, very, very careful in dealing with them, you know. Sometimes you may not want to get caught up with their affairs. Sometimes you might see people struggling and you want to help. But because of the fact that it is a economist country, sometimes you just have to be careful. I am not siding with our Prime Minister, you know, but I am saying what I know. You just have to be careful sometimes. Very, very careful. If our country could supply aids to them, grocery stuff, clothes, whatever it is all well and good. Just how we donated to hurricane countries is all well and good. But we just have to be very careful. We just have to be very careful. Not everybody will tell you that, you know. Not everybody will educate you on it, you know. Caller, good night.
Good night, Mr. Saieed.
Go right ahead.
They're going to take these CPEP people to clean all of this bush all over the place. It is only bush, the drain and them clogging up. And this is Zika virus going around again. I mean chikungunya. What it is they want to happen to poor people, Mr. Saieed? And Kadisha Amen only they halabaring all over the place and only talking one pack of nonsense. And she has seen to get these people to start to clean up all the place. If you see bush all about, you have to afraid to even walk the road just now. Good night.
Thank you, my dear. So Prasad Bisasa has extended an invitation to CARICOM citizens to partake in the fruit of two major development projects she says the government plans to open in the near future. The PM urged students to take advantage of educational opportunities on the island, citing the opening of the University of the West Indies campus in Davie. She indicated that the government hoped to open the campus by September, more than 10 years after it was just stand still. Listen to this.
We warmly invite member states to encourage their nationals to take advantage of the new educational opportunities in Trinidad and Tobago. We have established, we are working on it now, we had built it 10 years ago, it was shut down, the South Campus of the UWI. We welcome all students from CARICOM. We want to open it in September in the new academic year. So we welcome CARICOM students to come to us for those additional spaces at the UWI.
So now viewers, she's indicated the CARICOM students in other countries in the Caribbean, come down to Trinidad, come get an education, because our education is very, very high and it is recognized. It is recognized in London, in Europe, in the US, in Canada. It is recognized, our education. So now viewers, this takes me back to the Children's Hospital in Cuba. When the UNC administration built the Children's Hospital in Cuba, it was for the children. They had plans to open it up for the Caribbean. Now, opening up this hospital, the Children's Hospital, to the Caribbean, if you need a surgery, you don't need to go to the US. Come down to Trinidad, you're paying right here in Trinidad. Right here. So we would have had a hospital right here in Trinidad doing surgeries for children of the Caribbean. I wonder if Terrence Diazing had the capacity to think so big. I wonder if he had the brain power, the knowledge to think that big. Open something in Trinidad that children from the outside will come in for their surgeries. You're generating USD. But then again, I doubt he had the capacity. Brain power to think that big. Caller, good night.
Night, Mr. Said. Great and powerful program from a great and powerful soul.
Thank you, my friend.
And you rightly said, Rowley said that the citizens of this country are stupid.
Yes.
And when you analyze the situation today, he's quite right, you know.
Yeah.
The citizens in this country is standing up for nothing that is right and encouraging this and bonding. A chain is as strong as its weakest link. How are we going to carry this country forward? You are there night after night presenting your program and encouraging people to strengthen up themselves and understand what's happening in the country. When you have a man like Alexander as Homeland Security Minister, and he is still blaming, we had from last weekend to date about 8 murders. You know who we continue to blame? Well, I'm surprised he blame your program, Real Talk, but he's blaming the senators, the president's senators, and saying if they had voted for that Zoso bill, they could have mitigated these things and they would have known and prevented some of the murders. This man is right in his head. You have to bring legislation to Parliament to deal with the police service and clean up the police service. Half of the murders that you see in another program are connected to the police service, directly connected to the police service, police officers in the police service, Alexander. And I want you and Gavero to know, it have people in this country working national security for over 34 years. There's an individual that all you don't know about install all those radars throughout the country and up the Caribbean and went away and trained. So Gavero is still using that stupidity to say the radar helped them to make all of these drug busts and discover these drugs. Gavero, you made international news as the lying commissioner of police in this country, Trinidad, supported by your prime minister. That radar is an airborne surveillance radar, Gavero and Alexander, and to the cabinet. That you want to see what a surveillance radar is, detect objects above sea level. Go San Fernando Hill, you will see one item all over this country. So get your act together and know what you're talking about. You are now fed up with them. You see, Mr. Said, I mean, you are doing so much to make this country a better place, and while these people continue to lie to the citizens and feel the citizens are fools in this country. So Rowley was right, you know, the citizens are stupid and they're not standing for nothing that is right. Mr. Said, great job. You're a great soul. Keep up the great program you have. God bless you and your staff.
Same to you, my friend. Thank you. So Trinidad and Tobago, the Prime Minister also invited members to make use of the Cuba Children's Hospital, noting that the government hopes to get some help from the UAE in its opening.
In addition, we have reopened the Cuba Children's Hospital, and we hope to get some help from the UAE. They're here today. We met with them, our delegates met with them for a full opening of that Cuba Children's Hospital, which we open up as well a state-of-the-art children's hospital, we open to all citizens of the CARICOM. Please come. We have a campus. Education is a passport out of poverty. Take advantage of that extra campus. And of course, the spaces and the beds at the Cuba Children's Hospital.
So viewers, we are going for a short commercial break, but stay locked on. When we return, Venezuela rebukes PM CARICOM statement. After this.
We'll be right back.
Welcome to Real Talk Financing and Investment, a place where your loans are guaranteed. You're rewarded with up to 5% upfront interest on your deposit. Why wait when you can invest with us today and reap the benefits? Speak with a representative at our central branch at 238-6716, 231-6219, or 339-1670, or our south branch at 242-9944, 241-0543, or 339-1670. Real Talk Financing and Investment. Investment company just for you. For you. For you. For you.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the blaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on a roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Welcome back.
So viewers, the government of Venezuela has issued a sharp diplomatic rebuke of Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissess's following statement she made during the 50th meeting of CARICOM. It comes after Persad-Bissessa accused CARICOM of failing to defend its own member after Venezuela threatened both Guyana and Trinidad in 2015. In an official concurring date, February 25th, 2026, Persad-Bissessa comments ran counter to the principle of unity and cooperation that regional leaders have historically upheld. So viewers, let me tell you something. I was expecting Dulce Rodriguez to come out and say something. Now, the statement further described what it called the Prime Minister rhetorical obsession with Venezuela, arguing that her stance does not reflect a national consensus within Trinidad and Tobago. In other words, she didn't talk anything good. You know what I mean? And you know they have this saying, that's how the badness go. Well, I'll tell you something in Trinidad and Tobago. our Prime Minister is trying to fix the badness that is taking place in Trinidad and Tobago presently. So we have the opposition against it. We may have some CARICOM leaders against it, blaming Kamala for standing up so vibrant and letting the world know what is taking place within Trinidad and Tobago. Now we have Delcy Rodriguez, internal president for Venezuela, condemning Prime Minister Saieed Ali's statement. Now remember Trinidad and Tobago, when Maduro was president, remember, they said all sorts of things about Kamala Saieed Ali. Now that Maduro is not there, Delcy has taken his place and she is started. But nevertheless, viewers, this is something that was expected. I was expecting this. Caller, good night.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Go right ahead, you're live.
Yeah, calling in concerning this person just now, what was talking about CPAP have to clean. If everybody clean in front of the place, it wouldn't have that problem. Like the person stated, you're afraid to walk up the road because the amount of bushes. You go inside and build something there and see how fast it will have owners. Just like anywhere in Trinidad. Right?
True.
So that is one thing. She's supposed to know that. And next thing again, considering the opposition there with the speech that Ms. Kamala made, why didn't he talk about concerning the when Venezuela was in sanctions and people was in the country and they didn't say anything, they said they didn't know anything about it. Why she don't come and say about that? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, my friend. So viewers, not everybody would like what the Prime Minister said. It's the same way, not everybody liked what Dr. Rowley said. Now, Penelope's opposition, not everyone would like what she says. Not everybody. But at the end of the day, what they need to understand is Trinidad need fixing. Tobago need fixing. Because there are too much drugs coming into the country, too much youngsters on drugs, family breaking up, too much of prostitution on the corner, guns. Let me tell you, anybody could buy a gun now. Guns so cheap on the streets, anybody could buy a gun. But those in authority, are they seeing that? Or are they only seeing that, you know what? Now that I'm in power, let me turn a millionaire. Let me be a billionaire. Let me see how much contract I could get, how much money I could make. Let me see how much property I could own outside Trinidad. And that is their mental thinking. Mental thinking. Let me tell you something. When the CPAP contractor went to court, and all those lawyers that supported him, put him in court because support your thing. When the court tell him he had to pay a fine now, when the contractor had to pay CPAP manager, I believe, the head of CPAP, a fine, I wonder which one of the lawyer helped him. Forrester was one of the lawyer. Marcel was one of the lawyer. So I asked myself, was these lawyers who defended the contractor, were they defending the contractor in real, or were they defending themselves and the contract that they received? So that's for Marcel. You know, he liked to talk plenty. But I didn't know he had CPAP contract also. It's when the S-Bus and his name read out, then we realized, wait now boy, this man have contracts too from CPAP. So by he going to court, defending the contractor, as really his contract he was also defending too. Imagine that, eh? Now the contractor had to pay now. Which one of them help him? Which one of them help him? Nevertheless, Opposition Senator Marvin Gonzalez is questioning whether the government deliberately allowed the collapse of the proposed ZOSO legislation so it could later use later used its defeat as an excuse for the failing to curb rising crime. Now, Marvin, I'll tell you something. And I say this without fear. Crime in Trinidad, TTPS didn't have a control underneath it. TTPS could not control the crime that was taking place in Trinidad and Tobago. They couldn't. It was too rampant. Housebreaking, let me tell you something. You hear about 30, 40 housebreaking for the month. Imagine that. Imagine that. And that happened under you, Marvin. Under you. So now, you're asking the question, if the Zoso bill was deliberate, nah, come better than that. Come better than that, Marvin. Caller, good night.
Yes, sir, good night.
Go right ahead.
Yes, sir, I want to touch on this whole issue with the Prime Minister and the speech and thing like. I'm trying to figure out what was the problem with the speech. Because to me, I find everything she said is she had things to get off she mind.
Correct.
The woman talk she mind.
Yes.
I don't understand what was the problem there.
And that was the perfect spot.
What she's supposed to go and say, she's supposed to go and agree with all the other leaders and say, we living in a zone of peace. We not living in a zone of peace here.
Nope.
Because soon as the place get dark, now it's dark again. They can't step out your place. Because I got men just roam any place. Tell me if I'm wrong.
No, you're correct.
So she, everything the woman talk there, she talks sense.
Correct.
And let me tell you something, right? You see these PNM stooges, like Amory Brown and them, he forget he now come from government into opposition.
Correct.
People forget he was a foreign affairs minister. And Rowley had him like a bad boy. Anyway, he walked, anyway, Rowley going, you never see Amory Brown. Amory Brown used to be quiet in the back. Who used to be foot to foot with Rowley? Stuart Young. When Rowley going in any foreign country, who go with him?
Correct.
Stuart Young. Tell me, father, you know, he never used to carry your own foreign affairs minister. So who the hell is Amory Brown to come and chastise the Prime Minister? I tell you this side, he could never walk in that woman's shoe. Because he will never be Prime Minister material. He had to face reality, right? And stop talking about the woman, because the woman talking things that nobody in the opposition could ever talk.
Correct.
I listened to that speech side and I listened to it over again. And I trying to figure out what people have a problem with. It's like anything the woman say, anything the woman do, everybody have a problem with it.
True.
It's so Trinidadians don't like change in this country, right? All you vote all the PNM for change. Now all you getting change, all you complaining. What is all you really want? I'm trying to figure this thing out. And listen, before I go outside.
Yes.
All these drugs that they find in Central. I hear gone missing from the station now. Quantity I gone missing. I don't know how true that is.
I hear 2 blocks. I believe it's 3 officers from Sugarwater Station. PSB have them on an investigation as of today.
Yeah, well, you see, the thing is, right? These are the people, they need to get out of the police service because the corrupt police, they're worse than the gang members and all the bandits and everything. They're worse than them, you know? So they need to get these people out of it. And your side, you enjoy your night, man.
Thank you, my friend. So, viewers, speaking at a media briefing yesterday, Gonzalez suggested that the circumstances surrounding the bill failure raised serious concerns of the government inability to solve crime. Gonzalez.
It leaves one to wonder whether the government intended for the Zozo bill to fail from the onset so that they can use its failure to justify its inability to solve crime and criminality in Trinidad and Tobago. I say it again. It leaves the reasonable mind to wonder whether the government intended for the failure, the deliberate failure of the Zozo bill, so that they can use this. They can use this as some excuse, and their excuse, to not contain crime and criminality.
So, viewers, call a good night.
Sir, good night.
Go right ahead, my dear.
Saeed, I would love somebody from the PNM opposition to listen to me tonight.
Well, they are listening. They are listening.
Keep the tail quiet in there. Because when Rowley used to represent us out there, Rowley say all what he wanted to say, what he felt like saying. He lied to the people out there, didn't tell them the truth that's going on with us here under oppression, right? And he came back to Trinidad, quiet as ever, and all his disciples shut them out. They couldn't dare open their mouth and ask him anything or tell him anything. So I want them to leave my Prime Minister alone. Let her do what she does best, right? The woman ain't stupid. She had Johnny come lately. Let her represent. And what she said out there, who don't like it, suck it up. You hear? Leave the woman, let her do what she has to do. Oh God, it's 10 years we suffer. Everybody know. Gatsby Dolly seeing the teachers now need their money. Give them the money now. What you was doing sitting in that big chair.
Correct.
You never give them nothing.
Correct.
Teachers, 10 years, teachers waiting for money. And they can't get the money. Who the hell is Gatsby Dolly now to come and tell the Minister of Education to pay up the teachers? And you was there bullying in the schools. Children are being murdered in the schools. What Gatsby Dolly did. What Penelope Beckles did.
Correct.
What the rest of the disciples did. Everybody sat there and kept very quiet. Now all you want to come down on the UNC government who trying their best to clean up all your mess. Give us a break. Give us a break. Saeed, you reach home safe. Have a wonderful night. Thanks for hearing me out.
Thank you, my dear. So viewers, we are going for a short commercial break, but stay locked on. There's more to come.
We'll be right back.
Welcome to Real Talk Financing and Investment, a place where your loans are guaranteed and you're rewarded with up to 5% upfront interest on your deposit. Why wait when you can invest with us today and reap the benefits? Speak with a representative at our central branch at 238-6716, 231-6219, or 339-1670, or our south branch at 242-9944, 241-0543, or 339-1670. Real Talk Financing and Investment. Investment company just for you. For you. For you.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the blaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on a roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Welcome back.
So trying to make a welcome back to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. So before we go on for any further viewers, I have a little shout out to send out, a little birthday greetings. A little birthday greeting to a 2-year-old child. Her name is Ishra Singh. She's the daughter of a very good friend of mine. So I want to wish your family a successful birthday party to their loving daughter Ishra Singh. She is 2 years today, viewers, and so she cute. So she cute. So all the best to you, mom, dad, and the little girl. So viewers, something important that you should know. Transport and Aviation Minister Eli Zachar has confirmed that motorists will benefit from the grace period starting Monday, 2nd of March 2026 before facing fine or minor vehicle defect. Listen to this.
To give an update to this Honourable House on the Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Amendment 2026. Mr. President, on January 16, 2026, the Motor Vehicles and Road Traffic Amendment Bill for the introduction and implementation of fixed penalty warnings for specific traffic violations in the 9th schedule was passed in the other place, and on January 20, 2026 was passed in this Honourable House. It was assented on January 29, 2026, and I'm happy to report that the Act is going to be proclaimed on Monday, March 2nd, 2026.
So viewers, they put the cat in front of the horse. Under the PNM administration, you still get a warning. If they catch you the second time, then they'll issue a ticket. UNC came into power. Watch man, it's ticket. It's millions of dollars they made. And when they realize it's causing a backlash, then they decide, you know what? We're going to give you a grace period. Otherwise, the whole country would have shut down on the foolishness the UNC government brought out. But nevertheless, the system comes after public uproar earlier this year when several traffic fines were doubled under the rules. Drivers stopped by police, transport officers, or traffic warden will now have 3 to 7 days to correct minor defect before penalty applies. Listen to this.
Where a constable defined in the Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act to include a police officer, a transport officer, a traffic warden, and an estate constable employed under the Supplemental Police Act in a public body listed in the 8th schedule, has reason to believe that any traffic violation specified in the proposed 11th schedule is being or has been committed, the constable shall issue a fixed penalty warning. In circumstances where the driver is present, the warning may be handed directly to the driver. Where the driver is not present, the warning may be affixed to a visible part of the vehicle, ensuring that the motorist is properly notified of the infraction. Once a fixed penalty warning is issued or affixed, the responsibility for the violation rests with the driver or, when necessary, the registered owner of the vehicle.
So viewers, I'm going to tell you something. The horse in the back of the cat driving the horse. But I will get some links with this, Take what I was telling earlier. Now, drivers will have either a 3 days or a 7 days window, depending on the type of violation, to repair the defects on their vehicle. Listen to this now.
Upon satisfactory verification, the driver owner will be issued a certificate of compliance. That compliance serves as confirmation that the requirements of the fixed penalty warning have been met, and the results in the driver and owner be discharged from any further liability in respect of the violation. The matter is thereby resolved within the need for a fine, court proceedings, or further enforcement action. However, in the event that the driver owner fails to remedy the defect or fails to report within the time frame, the fixed penalty warning automatically converts to a fixed penalty notice. In those circumstances, the driver owner becomes liable to pay the prescribed fine, just as if the fixed penalty notice had been issued in the first instance.
So trying to watch man, I have no idea where they get this back to front man from, you know. Take what I'm telling you, I have no idea where they get this back to front man from. The minister also assured that all stakeholders have been briefed in the case of technical difficulties and compliance booklet listing more than 300 fixed penalties will be distributed to relevant location. So Trinidad and Tobago, after the culture done start, now you want to release now a booklet. Listen to this.
But also in the event of a system issue or in the absence of a fixed penalty device. The ministry has therefore printed over 300 physical fixed penalty warnings and certificate of compliance booklets to be distributed to the relevant locations across the nation. A sample of the forms contained in these booklets was approved and will be published in the Trinidad and Tobago Gazette pursuant to the new section A to A7. Electronic versions of these forms will also be published in the Gazette. Mr. President, public notices will also be published in the daily newspapers and on social media to ensure that motorists are fully informed of the commencement and operation of the fixed penalty warning system.
So viewers, every individual in Trinidad and Tobago who owns a vehicle started to hate this man for the back to front act that they did. Trust what I'm telling earlier. So I just want to touch on the NGC increase in gas. Chairman of the National Gas Company of Trinidad and Tobago, Gerald Ramdeen, has defended his board decision to increase natural gas price for light industrial consumers from US $3 to $5 per 1 million, well, let me just say the MBTU, unit of gas. Now, the price of gas to local light industry consumers will increase in January 2026, was increased. Ramdeen maintained that the decision was driven by the need to safeguard the company's core asset and ensure a sustainability of its operation. Ramdeen.
Because the pipeline system that NGC operates, which is our greatest asset, requires maintenance and upkeep. NGC requires a tariff to do the business. And that takes me to a very important point. The administrative cost to run the NGC when we entered into office was $1.7 billion. 1.7 billion TT dollars to run the NGC per year.
So now viewers, with this, he said they have been cutting expense by $800 million. Listen to this.
We've cut that expense by $800 million. And that is why we've taken these hard decisions now that will resound to the benefit of the citizens of this country, because at the end of the day, we must understand the NGC's sole shareholder is Corporation Sole, which translates into the citizens of the country, this country.
So now viewers, Ramdeen said that TCL is classified as a light manufacturer despite the fact that consumes between 12 and 15 MMBTU per day. Here it is.
Because it is not fair that in this country, the manufacturing sector enjoys cheap gas and they enjoy subsidized electricity that has caused the power producers and TNTech to have that bill of $10 billion.
So Trinidad and Tobago, this is where I now have to say good night until we meet again.